Illuminated Bible Story Book for Young People by Elizabeth Morton. Printed in the U.S.A., copyright 1927, published by the John C. Winston Company, Chicago, Philadelphia, Toronto. Includes 20 colored illustrations. Today's reading is Jesus and the Fishermen. When Jesus was about 30 years old, he left his home in Nazareth and his father and mother and went through all the land, healing the sick and performing many wonderful miracles. He had many friends by this time, but there were a few young men who had come to him as followers. While he preached near Jerusalem or in Samaria, these men stayed with him. But when he went into Galilee, they returned to their homes, for they were fishermen from the Sea of Galilee. Now Jesus knew that he would need some helpers or followers who would be with him always, to go with him wherever he went, men with true hearts who would take him as their Lord and Master and would follow him willingly. One time he came into the country around the Sea of Galilee to preach. It was early in the morning when he went down to the shore of the sea, and great throngs of people followed him to hear the words he had to teach them from God. On the shore of the sea were 2 fishing boats, one of them belonging to Peter and Andrew, and the other to James and John. When Jesus saw these boats, he called to Peter to come and take him into his boat and push it out a little from the bank. He then could talk to the people from it without being crowded. They pushed it out, and Jesus, standing in the boat, spoke to the people at the water's edge. When he had finished speaking and had sent the listeners away, he said to Peter, "Launch out into the deep water and let down your nets to catch some fish." Now Peter and Andrew had been fishing all night on the blue Sea of Galilee, but had caught nothing. No doubt they were tired and disappointed, but at Jesus' command they let down the net, without, however, expecting much success. But a wonderful thing happened. The net caught so many fish that Andrew and Peter could not pull it up by themselves, and they had to call to James and John, who were in another boat. They came and helped to lift the net and to pour out the fish. Soon both boats were filled and were ready to sink with the weight. When Peter saw this wonderful miracle, he was astonished at the power of Jesus, and falling down at his feet, he cried out, "Depart from me, for I am a sinful man, O Lord." But Jesus loved Peter and had a great plan for him. He said to him, "Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men." And then, turning to Andrew and James and John, he said, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." They left their nets and followed their new master. Up to this time, they had believed in Jesus as their Savior and were ready to do what he wanted them to do, but they had not given up their homes to follow him. Now they forsook everything to attach themselves to Jesus. They were his first disciples, a happy company of men who were always with him, learning of him and teaching others about him. They were to be his true friends for all the rest of the time he lived on earth. Jesus also chose 8 other men to join these 4, making 12 in all who were to devote their whole life to his help and to be his disciples. But Peter and James and John were his special friends.